This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through your Flagstaff Mac model 228D tent camper. This video is kind of a supplement to the manufacturer's video that you can get on their website, Forest River's website, or there's a copy of it, a hard copy on a CD or a DVD, I guess, in the brown packet that comes with the trailer with all the manuals and everything in it. So, okay, here I am on the door side of the trailer, and you can see you have a LED strip with your awning right here. Now, the awning, all the legs are all stored in the rafter of the awning. The rafter is the section when you roll it out. The section on the very end out here, as you roll it back, you'll fold the legs and the piece that connects to the side of the trailer. So keep that in mind. All the parts for the awning, except a couple stakes, if you want to stake them to the ground, they're all included in the inside the awning. Okay. Now, also owning a trailer, you have to remember that you have to inspect the seals on this, like any other trailer. So you want to do it about 3 times a season, once in the spring, once in the fall, once in the middle of the summer. So I'll just look up and show you right here. You have corner caps on the roof. So you want to inspect that area and make sure there's no cracking or separation. The roof vent is the same way. You want to inspect around that, make sure there's no cracking or separation. Also, you want to look at the sides. Any place you see caulk from the factory. In this case, you have, sometimes they'll use putty or butyl tape, which is like a putty tape with adhesive. All the corner moldings, for example, will have that put on first, and then it's screwed down, and then they'll have caulk on it. So just keep in mind that any place you see caulk from the factory, you want to make sure it's good and tight. It's important to check along this floor line, the corners, that sort of thing. So that's important if you own a trailer. If you do check it and keep after it, it'll never ever get water inside, period. So that's why you want to check it on a regular basis, just to make sure that there's nothing that needs to be touched up. Odds are you won't have to do anything for a long, long time, but you're inspecting it for peace of mind and to protect your investment, so you'll be aware if it needs some attention. All right. Okay. You have crank down stabilizer jacks. They work with a crank, obviously, or a 3/4 inch socket on the end of a drill. Seems to be what people use these days. Your grill will hang right on this awning rail here, plus you have a small little table that hangs next to it. Now you have to plug the grill in here. So this is a quick connect fitting here. It's a quick connect LP fitting right here. And you're just going to hook the male end right in here, the male end of the hose right in there, or I should say this hose, let me back up. The female end of this hose, which is right here, will connect to the male end on the grill. Just like that, and then you'll turn it on like that to get gas to it, okay? It's a low pressure system, so you know. All right, this is a fresh water tank fill here. Most of the time you'll just use city water hookup to get water to your trailer. But if you go to a state park that does not have plumbing on the campsite, like some of the older state parks, they'll have like a fill station when you first come into the park, but no plumbing on the campsite. You could fill your onboard tank, and then there's a switch inside to operate the water pump, and you can actually pump the water. And everything will work just like you have city water. Now you have a cassette toilet in this model, so keep in mind the best way to learn about the cassette is the manufacturer's video and the manual that comes inside the packet. So that's important. But I just want to show you, this is where it comes out. If you want to extract the tank, you have a little latch here. It comes in and out like so, okay? Keep in mind that you have to use chemical in this, so like I said, if you read the directions, or better yet, go on the online video, try to stick with the manufacturer's video, and that's the best way to learn about it. It's basically for emergencies, late at night thing, kids, that sort of thing. Although you can use it all the time if you choose to, but I think most people generally wind up just using it in emergencies. Also, the drain for your shower is right here, just so you know. you have a fitting that'll screw onto there, and you can push a hose onto it so you can direct the water into a pail or a sewer or whatever you want to do. But you have to do that also if you come around the other side. You have a sink drain right here. This takes a garden hose type fitting. So you just hook a piece of a garden hose on there. You can go to, you know, Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards or someplace and buy the pieces, make it as long as you want. But you're going to direct it, like I said, to a bucket or to a sewer or someplace, all right? Now I also mentioned that city water is the way to go for most of the times when you're getting trailer or water to the trailer. So this is your city water hookup right here. The only time you'll use the fresh water tank is when you don't have plumbing on the campsite. This trailer, you're going to be getting air conditioning on it, I'm told. We're waiting for parts. The virus has got everything slowed down. But you'll have a cord that comes out of here, and it will hook up right up there. There's going to be a port. So keep that in mind. That's not a retrofit deal. That's how they all work. So they all have that. All Forest River, Flagstaffs and Rockwoods have that type of system. So, okay, so let me just come back up front a little bit now. We've got two deep cycle marine batteries. They're wired to 12 volts. You just had double the storage capacity, which is good. You got plenty of storage. This is your winch, your power winch, up and down. Now, if you have kids, keep in mind that if they hit the switch, it's going to go up and down. There's no safety on it or anything like that. So you don't want to, basically the rule is whoever operates the winch is responsible for looking at the latches. When I say latches, I'm talking about the 4 latches, one on each corner of the trailer that hold the roof down. You have to make sure that they're unlatched before you raise it. So whoever operates the winch is responsible for that, no matter, even if you ask somebody and they tell you, oh yeah, they're unlatched, it's still up to the operator to check it, all right? Also, keep in mind, this green thing here, this line, is a tension line. You can see it's taut, just like that. That basically, you keep an eye on the line when you're raising the roof, and when it's taut like that, it tells you that the roof is at the right height so the screen door fits in there. So you always want to keep an eye on that. If you ever pull this loose, people always do eventually, you'll reconnect it up at the top, just move it over a 1/4 inch to the side and screw it back in. Seems like everybody eventually does. Also, you have, this is your power cord, obviously, 30 feet long, 30 amp. This is your outdoor shower for hosing things down. It's both hot and cold water. Now, if you turn these vertically, these latches here, let me see if I'm showing you the latch right there. The other one's over here. You're going to go vertical with it, and then you can just pull this off like so. This is the controls for your refrigerator. So this is a 3-way refrigerator. It'll work on 3 different energy sources. It'll work on 110 AC, which is just this switch right here. It'll work on 12 volts DC, so when you're pulling it down the road, your battery will run the refrigerator and your alternator from your tow vehicle will charge the battery, so you just turn this one on. Okay? Now it says right here, only use 1 energy source at a time, so keep that in mind. Never double up on them like that. You just run 1 at a time. Now, if you want to light it on gas, you have to spark it. You make sure the temperature is always up all the way. That's where you want it. Just always, you want it up all the way. Now you can, if you can see this here, you can open this little spy hole here, whatever you want to call it, and inside there you'll see a flame light. So I'm just going to talk you through it real quick here. So you're basically going to go to light it on gas. You're going to go to high on that. Then you're going to depress it and hold it down, and you spark it. When you do that, it'll light the pilot light, and you'll be able to see it through that hole. Unless it's really super sunny out, it's kind of hard to see, but it will light. And if you're having a hard time lighting it, that's not unusual, because you don't use it that often, so you have to sort of keep sparking it till it works the gas through the very small line that well, that's not it. Where is it at? I can't see it. Oh, right there. So that would be the one that the line is very small, so it takes a while to work the gas through the line and get the air out of it. So what you do is you'll spark it a few times, then shut it back off. It's important to do this, shutting it off. Then you turn it back on and depress it and do it again, and eventually it'll light. Okay, once it lights, you hold it down for just a few seconds to heat it up and let it go, and you're all set. 9 times out of 10 you're just going to be using gas, or you're going to be using 110 AC or 12 volt DC and saving the gas for your cooking and heating. So But if you're way out in the middle of nowhere, you can run the refrigerator off gas. It's a very small flame, so it goes a long way. Okay? All right. Hopefully that made sense to you. I seem less confused than usual, so that's good. All right. This is your water heater. It runs on gas. Now keep in mind, this has plumbing. This trailer has plumbing, so it has to be winterized. Right now it's de-winterized, meaning there's no antifreeze in the system. The water heater has to be bypassed before you pump antifreeze into it, or into the system when you're winterizing. You do that, there's valves on the back of the water heater. I'm just telling you this in advance. You may know all this stuff, I don't know, but if you're just a reasonably handy person, you can winterize it yourself. But the bottom line is you always bypass the water heater before you pump antifreeze into the system, because if you get antifreeze into the water heater tank, it leaves a really foul taste and a bad smell. It doesn't want to go away, no matter what you do. It seems to linger, so they give you bypass valves on the back of the water heater. I'm just telling you that now. You access this water heater in the from the if you were to look right inside the trailer from where we're at, there's a bench, a dinette bench seat. It's the front bench seat. There's two screws holding the top down of the bench. If you take those two screws out, you'll see the back of the water heater and the bypass valves. Okay. The switch to operate this is inside. It runs on gas only. So I'll show you the switch when we get in there. But always make sure that there's water in the water heater in the water heater tank before you light it. You'll do that basically by hooking up your city water, turning on the hot water inside, or the hot water on your shower. And if it's empty, you know, the tank's empty, it's just going to be spurting air out, and then as it fills, it'll be a mixture of air and water, and eventually you get solid water coming out. That's when you know it's full. Okay. That's your furnace vent there. Watch out with little kids in the when you're using it, because it gets kind of hot. You can always buy a mud dauber screen that goes over it. It just clips on, and that'll insulate it a little bit. This is just coax through for campground cable or an antenna or whatever you want to put through. Okay. I'm not actually going to do it. Oh yeah, it's already on there. So if you look down here, this travel door here, that's the door that goes on the trailer when it's closed up and ready to be pulled on the road. You can see it stows under here. It's got two hinges, and you put the hinge pins from the door right through there, and then use that little bungee around the latch to hold it up there. So obviously, before you push this bunk in, you're going to put the door back over here. Going back to the door area. You will put it right back on here. Okay. All right. So let me make sure we've covered everything out here within reason. Okay. So 2 light switches. One of them is your awning LED light, porch light, or the porch light is here. Your LED awning light, and the other one's interior. Now, it's important to note that there's a kill switch for the 12 volt inside here. The kill switch is underneath this sink and range top. So watch when I pull it up. See, the lights will go out. I don't know if you can see here, but if you look down there, there's that little metal colored thing there. That's actually a kill switch. When I push it down, it makes contact and turns the lights on. So just keep that in mind, that there is a safety on this, okay? All right, so this GFCI right here, all the plugs on the trailer are wired through this GFCI, even the one on the outside. So if you're using something outside that pops, you're going to reset it right here. This is to light your water heater, right here, okay? This is your water pump. Right here, you turn it on, right there, you turn it on right there. So that's how you run your water pump. Remember, you'll use the water pump if there's no plumbing on the campsite and you're using onboard water. All right. Also, you'll use the water pump to pump antifreeze into the system when you winterize. That's something you'll have to research a bit. Okay. Also, this device below it is the power converter, right there. This device converts 110 AC over to 12 volt DC. Everything in a trailer that can run on 12 volts does, and this is where it happens here. So on this side, you have regular household circuit breakers here. One of them is for the air conditioners, because this is pre-wired for an air conditioner. So one is just your main switch, and then you have AC. So, but the bottom line is they're labeled and you can see it. Then the power is converted over to 12 volt DC over here. Let me see if I can get the camera on it here. Where's my finger at? Yikes, I'm way off here, I think. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. It's got 12-volt fuses there. So it converts the 110 AC over to 12-volt DC, and those fuses have a light behind them. So if it's a little LED. So if they ever blow, you'll actually be able to see it glowing through this perforation right here on the cover. So you'll know that a fuse blew. Also, this is a battery charger, so as long as you're plugged into shore power, it'll charge your battery and keep it charged, which is an important thing, obviously. And you have the dual batteries, so you got double the storage capacity, which is an excellent thing to have. Your refrigerator, remember the controls were outside, but obviously the door is right here, so you have it right there. Now, this little latch here, let me see if we can see it here. Wish I could see this monitor better. Okay, so you have two slots in this. So if I just lock it normally, it locks shut. But I can pull it out a little ways, and there's an outer slot. I hope that makes sense to you. Right there. So when you do this, you can see that. Let me do it again and get it caught on there. When you do it, it stays open a little bit. It's cracked. That way you don't get that refrigerator smell if you're storing it. So you can do it both ways. All right. So keep that in mind. It gives you a little bit of air space if you want to. Also, we stowed some stuff in here for you. There's a shower curtain that'll hang on this track up here above your toilet and shower. This is a carbon block filter for removing sediment and some chlorine, that's chlorine taste and smell, and other water treatment chemicals. It does a pretty good job. I think it's like a 95% removal rate, something like that. Keep in mind, if you use this, you have to use it or replace it every season. So you would throw it out in the fall when you winterize, and after dewinterizing in the spring, you'd put another one in. I'm going to look here to find out where it goes. It'll go behind here, I believe. Anytime you see a door with two hinges on it, one on each side, you unscrew the hinge and there'll be something of value back there. It'll be plumbing or electricity. So keep in mind, you can spin the water filter cartridge off with this wrench. Right, you just put it up all over the water filter housing, and you spin it off, and then plop the cartridge in. Okay. All right. Again, you research that a little bit, and it's not going to be hard to find information. Or you can have it done if you're not the type who wants to do that yourself. Okay, the range, obviously that just lights with a lighter. There's no pilot light or anything. You just light it as you need it. It's right here. You got 3 burners. Okay, now I noticed that you have different trailers come with different accessories. This one here, I see this is called a pantry, and you see it right there. There's the crank that I spoke to you about for the jacks, but underneath is the pantry. That pantry would hang right up here on the ceiling. You see the loops for it, hopefully. Let me back up. There we go. Well, I'm a lousy cameraman. I'm sorry about that. So you're going to hang that there, and you can keep stuff in there. You can keep your canned stuff or potato chips or whatever you want up and out of the way. This is your grill, of course. The black thing is the cover for it, to store it. This is the grill rack that the grill slides onto when it hangs on the side of your trailer. This here is the table I told you about. It's a utility table that will hang next to the grill. Your mattresses have a heater built in. We'll call it a warmer because it doesn't really get too hot. Let me see how they put these in. Generally it's on the left, but I've been seeing more and more they've been just putting them in backwards. Let me see what we've got in here. Let me look here. Hold on one second. Okay. Get this out of the way so I can get over here. How come I'm not seeing it? Sorry about the camera work. I know I'm all over the place here. I have to figure out the mystery. Let me look at the other one here. Yeah, so this one is right here. You can see it. I think they might have that mattress in upside down. Let me just look underneath to see if it is possible. Let's see. Well, I'll have to discuss this with or look when I'm not doing this video. I'm sorry, I'm the camera over here, all over the place with the camera. Normally it's right here. I don't know. You definitely have one on the other mattress. I don't see the one on this mattress. I'm not saying it's not there. It could be something new. Maybe they're putting it in a different spot. But they did give me 2 controllers, and there's your one hookup right there. So anyway, the bottom line is the one end of the controller goes in to the mattress, this end right here, and then of course the regular plug end goes into 110. That's here. All right. I'll solve that mystery for you by the time you get here. I'm not sure what to say about that right now. Also, you have a fan light combo. This is just hangs on clips onto the bar up here, and you will plug it in right here. Okay, and you get some light and some fan, air movement. Right here is a 3-speed fan. Right now it's open, and it has to be open to turn it on. It's got a kill switch inside, but it draws the air out really well. So when you close it, you will close it down, obviously, and then you lock it here so it doesn't creep open when you're traveling and let water get in. Okay, I'm still preoccupied with the mystery of the missing connection here, but we'll find out for you. It'll all work out. Now, I mentioned on the side with the shower, they had a fitting you could use to hook up it's got a barb on it to hook a hose on there. That's it right there. A couple of stakes for your awning legs. This is for adjusting. You can have it. It's for adjusting the stops on your lift system. You shouldn't have to do that, and it is warranted. If your stops need adjusting, we're going to do it for you, obviously. But as they're set right now, they're just fine. Okay. This is your shower and toilet area. The cassette toilet, like I said, you're going to want to read the directions, the Thetford directions, but also look at their online video. It's the best way to learn. This is self-explanatory. It's just a sit-down shower. Okay. Okay. This is your furnace right here. The thermostat is over here. All right. So when it's all the way to the left, it clicks to the left. It's off. If you go to the right, it turns on. If you hear it click on there, and then you can shut it off here. When it clicks like that, the power or the flame goes out immediately. But it's still going to cycle through for a minute or two to purge itself. That's just the way it's designed. So even though I shut it off, the flame went out, but it could still continue to cycle. Of course, the table comes up and down. You could turn it into a bed when you're not using it as a dinette table. Alrighty, let me see if I forgot anything here. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. This device here is your carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. It should always be green like that. You can set this thing off. It'll go through 2 self-tests, one for LP and one for carbon monoxide, and then back to green. It should always be green. Now, if this goes off, you're going to take everybody outside. You're going to shut the gas off at the front and figure out what's going on. Always, something of suspect always will be these knobs here to light for your burners. Make sure a little kid didn't grab a hold of them and turn them or anything, but that's generally where you're going to look first. 9 times out of 10, that's the culprit. All right. Now, also this couch turns into a bed. Also, you just pull it out from down here and plop the mattress or the back into place, and it becomes a bed. So you've got your two bed ends, your bunk ends. You got your dinette table and the sofa, which all are beds. So you got a lot of sleeping space. Okay. So now let me look around, see if I've got everything here. Like I said, this will go with the manufacturer's video. When it comes to setup videos, it's a really good one. This goes into a little bit more detail when it comes to operating it. There's little things that you'll discover along the way, obviously. Let me push this here. There's this pin right here, for example. It will go in for your slide room, basically, or slide out here. I think they call it a glide or something. The whole dinette sits on it, obviously, but you can pin that in the out position if you want. Now, when you put your pole up here, the pole is sitting over here. They just haven't put it up there yet. That'll hold the thing out. It's just more recently. I mean, like in more recent years, they've put the pins on there with a cotter pin. Also, your let's find them here. Let me get to one that's easier to see here. Okay, right here. Right here on the bed, they'll all have one of these on all four corners, so you can lock your bed into position. Okay. Again, the pole basically holds it out, but that just does a better job of keeping it in the extended position. Okay. All right, I think that's basically it then. If you have more questions, you can talk to us, and we'll talk you through it. There's in this side of your packet here that I'm showing you. There's, like I said, you have that video. Plus, you can just watch it online also. Plus, you have a manual for every appliance in here and most components. Period. So there'll be plenty of information in there. Plus, there's an online complete manual for this particular model also. Yeah, you can access. So, okay. All right. Well, thanks for purchasing your trailer at National RV Detroit. Remember what I said about inspecting your seals. That's important. Just takes you 20 minutes, three times a season, and odds are you'll have to do nothing. But if you see some separation starting, which you will eventually, somewhere down the road, could be years from now, just have it taken care of immediately. Do not use caulk from the hardware store. Always use the correct stuff. In this case, it's Clear ProFlex is what they used, but you go to an RV place, not the hardware store, to get the caulk. If you go to an RV place, they'll tell you exactly what you need, all right? Also, you have to bypass the water heater. I mentioned that you access the water heater from this bench here, your front bench. You can see there's a screw here, there, and then there's another one there. You just take those out. They're number 2 square-headed screws. Everything is number 2 square-headed. You remove that panel and you'll see the water heater and the bypass valves, okay? Okay, well, thank you very much, and make sure you have a lot of fun with it. You have to plan ahead these days to get good reservations. So think 6 months in advance, and you'll always have the best spot at the best place. So thank you very much.